by laying hold to the belief in our hearts that Jesus has stopped them. And when He died on the cross and put to death that old nature, He put to death that self-righteous old man. That thinks he stands before God because of the things he has done. Like the man that stood and prayed, thanking God that he wasn't like other men. Thinking God was pleased with him because of his prayers and his giving of tithes and other works. He trusted in himself that he was righteous. So the purpose of this labor is to bring a man to total deliverance of all trust in himself. To bring his heart to the place of having a perfect conscience before God, because he stands solely on the work that Christ did when He died at Calvary. He believes that God is pleased with him because by faith he has received the total cleansing of his heart through the sacrifice of Christ. He believes that old wicked nature is gone. So this is the gospel. This is the good news. And if a man is diligent to exercise his faith, to believe this wonderful gospel, that labor of faith will wear him out. It will drain him of all self-strength. In the book of Revelation, it talks about the church in Philadelphia, chapter 3, verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works, behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. They had a little strength remaining. You know, God's will for us is to be strong in the Lord and the power of His might. His will for us is to be strengthened with might in the inner man. But these people had just a little strength. So how could they be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might and just have a little strength? It's because they were still in that labor of faith. They had a little bit of self-strength remaining, which is better than having a lot of it. How did they get to the place where they had a little? By keeping the Word of God. They were exercising their faith to hold on to that Word of God, Brother Carlos, and it was weakening them. And he knew their works. You know, God can use vessels even before they're perfected, according to how weak they are. The weaker you get, the more God can use you. God knew their works. He knew He was able to use them to an extent because they were diligently holding fast to His Word. But they had not yet attained that blessed place of losing all strength. So He gives them the exhortation that, if followed, will bring them to that place, being filled with the strength of God. He says, "Behold, I come quickly." This was written a long time ago, brothers and sisters. Behold, I come quickly. This can have a meaning, a spiritual meaning of the Lord coming quickly into our hearts to reign in us. You know, after a period of continuing in the faith, the enemy can come and try to discourage us, tempt us to back off from our profession of faith, that wonderful profession that has been having its work in our lives, weakening us. And if we succumb to that temptation and back off and begin to make provision for the flesh, then that which is weakened begins to gain strength. That's where it says, "Beware lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin." When a person begins to get very weak in himself, great temptation can come to abandon this way. Does it cause us suffering, Brother Leroy, when a man continues? And that suffering weakens him. Brother Leroy and I were talking after the last meeting about how a man has to suffer the loss of all things. It's not something we lose by self-effort. Get ridding of it ourselves. Can't rid ourselves of it by the efforts of self. But it has to be suffered. And it's by holding fast to the Word of God, to one's profession of faith, that one experiences that suffering of the loss of all things. So he exhorts them, "Behold, I come quickly." Reminds me of the exhortation, "Cast not away your confidence, which has great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience,